We're spending 22 minutes today with Jesse Tyler Ferguson of Modern Family fame.
Hi.
And of the stage.
Yes.
And of Pepsi.
Yes.
You're partnering with
fame.
them to talk about, wait, I want to get the quote right, to encourage food lovers to embrace social connections at meals without heartburn.
Exactly.
How do you do that?
Well, this is my second year working with Pepsi. I love them. I'm a big foodie and I love eating out. I love cooking at home, and I find so much joy in that and so much joy in spending that time with my family and my friends that I don't want heartburn, which I definitely suffer from, to override that. So I love this program that they have, and I love the message of, you know, seize the meal and carpe dinner is what the program is called. So and it's really about enjoying the meal and not worrying about the heartburn, because I definitely suffer from it. Actually, last night I'm in New York working with Pepsi among other things, and me and my husband went to go eat at the Polo Bar, which has delicious hamburgers here in New York City. And we had we kind of had the early bird special. We went into like 5:30 before the show. Oprah Winfrey happened to be there too.
Oh,
just
really?
So you know.
Oh,
yeah,
okay. I was going to say with all the blue hairs, but Oprah, wow.
Blue hairs and Oprah.
Okay.
And Jesse and Justin. And we went to go see my friend Sarah Bareilles, who's a waitress. And during the second act, I was sort of pounding my chest a little bit, and Justin says, "What's going on?" I was like, "I actually have really bad heartburn right now."
Oh my gosh.
I was like, "Well, this is fortuitous, so I can actually talk about this very genuinely."
Right.
And I didn't have a Pepsi on me, so I know happened when I went home.
Did you have to skip the pie with Sarah?
I know. If you see Waitress, they bake a pie in the lobby, so those. That aroma is in the audience. It's all you want while you're watching the show is pie. Oh,
that sounds awesome. That sounds awesome. Now, you're a food blogger, too. Yeah, so what do you blog about? What specifically? You work in partnership with a chef, right?
Yes, my friend Julie is a cook with me. She's just, it sort of happened organically. I'm friendly with this woman who is a caterer and a professional chef, and I've always wanted to put myself through culinary school, but I've never had the time because of my day job, Modern Family.
Right.
So I said, "Would you come over and just like help me, you know, cook some things? I would love to like learn some of your techniques." And we started making recipes together, and then we'd post them on Instagram. People would ask for the recipes, and so we said, let's put it on a blog so they kind of all live in the same place. And then that sort of took off. So now we have quite an array of recipes on our blog, which has been really fun to work on. And it's sort of paleo-ish, but you know, I do love bold flavors. I love spicy flavors. I grew up in New Mexico, so you know, hot sauces are like a big thing for me, which, you know, it's not great for my heartburn, but again, I don't want to let that, you know, dictate what I'm cooking. Yeah. So it's been a really fun process, because I sort of get to, you know, make healthy meals, but super flavorful with a big punch. And, you know, like I find inspiration from cookbooks a lot. Gwyneth Paltrow has a very delicious salmon sriracha recipe that I cook all the time. Yes.
That's a hot one. That'll give you a little bit of heartburn, I guess.
Exactly.
What's like the signature Jesse recipe, if there is one?
You know, I go through phases where like I rotate the same sort of things, and then I get off of those for a little while. Right now there's this spicy and sweet Thai beef taco lettuce cup thing that I've been making a lot for Justin, that we really like. We use cauliflower rice instead of you know, white rice to make it a little lighter. So that's been a popular one.
Oh, you had me at Thai. That sounds really, really
Thai
good.
Thai flavors are delicious, yes.
And before we get off the food thing and talk about the day job, you hosted the James Beard Awards.
I know.
Too, right?
It was so exciting. I was so honored to be asked. I'm obviously, like I said, a big foodie, but I have such respect for the culinary world and for what they do. You know, chefs to me are like bigger than, you know, movie stars. Like, I get really excited when I meet chefs that I admire. So to be in a room with all of them was an honor, but then also to host their biggest night. You know, the James Beard Awards are basically the Oscars for the culinary world. Right. And I got to be the MC and have the best seat in the house for that.
That's awesome.
And rub shoulders with some really amazing chefs and restaurateurs and bakers and mixologists. So that was really super exciting. I definitely ate really well that weekend.
I'll bet you did. There was I don't know if you caught it, there was a really interesting article not too long ago in the Times, an op-ed from Frank Bruni about James Beard and how legendary chef, but in his obituaries, they never mentioned his personal life. It was sort of kept aside. And to think that just 30 years ago, we were so much more uptight about that.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And yet your show, Modern Family, Would you consider it a groundbreaking show?
You know, it's hard to pat yourself on the back like that, but when I do look at the social ramifications that the show has, you know, I grew up gay in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I was born in 1975, and at that time, you know, when I was 10, 11, 12, it was hard for me to be who I was, and I was very closeted. And I always think, you know, if I had a television show like Modern Family on, and I had a character I could relate to, or a relationship that I could strive for, see myself represented on TV, I think it would have made my coming out process a lot easier, and I think it would have been a pop culture touchstone or talking point for my family, which I think would have been really important. And I hear that that's what's happening for people now. So in that respect, I can sort of step back from the bigger picture and get out of the bubble and sort of see that it is a big deal.
Right.
But I also acknowledge that we stand on the shoulders of shows like Ellen, you know, Ellen DeGeneres' show, and Will and Grace, and Glee, and like, you know, we everything is sort of, we all open the doors for one another, and you know, we're opening the doors for other shows. So it's great, and it's great to see so many gay characters on TV right now, and there can always be more.
I heard you remarking, I guess it was about a week ago, when Ellen marked the 20th anniversary of her coming out, and again, I mean, there she was. That was.
And you kind of forget
Cover Newsweek.
You kind of forget how huge it was until you are at that 20-year mark, and you look back and you think, wow, that was a really big deal. And people responded to it in such a different way back then. I mean, it was a big deal, but then you have to remember the next season her show was canceled.
I was just going to say, she essentially got fired.
There was, exactly. So there was, you know, consequences to that. And here you are, you know, with Mitchell and Cam, you know, the very first scene you see them, they're bringing back an adopted baby, and that's just the beginning of their story. And you have, you know, we're now 8 seasons in, and it's like we're able to tell the stories that we want to tell. And the controversial thing now is that we're both white. You know, it's like not even that we're gay. Like where at the beginning it was like
about that,
but they're gay, and that was like a big deal. And now it's like, but they're both white, and like that shows how far we've come. That, you know, they are that's the thing that's annoying about them, or that people like prick up about.
Yeah, and you guys got some criticism too for not initially, I forget what season it was, but not showing enough PDA.
Sure. Yes. Yes. And you know, my criticism was like, you know, you're seeing 22 minutes of these people's lives, and you know, we're showing the lives of 12 different people. You're not going to see every single moment. But you know, Eric and I do want to make sure that we are a relatable couple that do feel like a real couple. So you know, I took that note and I was like, yeah, we can be a little more affectionate, you know. But you have to also remember, like, in those early seasons, we were still getting to know one another as actors, so maybe that bled through a little bit. I don't know. Yeah,
and not all couples are, you know, big PDA people.
Well, that's the thing. My character specifically is very uptight. And when we did get to the story called The Kiss, it was all about how Mitchell doesn't like showing PDA. And I was like, it was sort of right there, you know, in the character description. Like, it makes sense.
Right. So it's been on since '09.
Yes.
Right? Wow, long time. And there was a big article in Hollywood Reporter. Modern Family renewed for seasons 9 and 10 as cast inks rich new deals to return. So congratulations,
very flashy headline. No, we're really super excited. We've been wanting to, you know, seal up this deal and make sure we could stay on the air. I think the show deserves a few more seasons. I think the fans deserve a few more seasons. So I'm really happy we can hopefully wrap it up. Maybe it'll go on past 10 years, who knows? But I really want to be able to wrap up the stories in the way they deserve to be wrapped up.
That was my next question. That's not to say, oh, okay, we're going to do a season 9 and 10. That's not to say that it's over, Johnny, after that. It's you don't know.
You never know. I mean, it depends on, you know, how if people still want to watch the show. I imagine we'll still try and make more.
Right.
It's the best job I've ever had. I've never done anything this long. You know, I think about, I mean, we're in our 8th season now. I think about 1st grade through 8th grade. It seems like an eternity when you're that age. And like now, these past 8 years have flown by.
Right. And you've seen all the kids on the show grow up.
Exactly. You know, they were, you know, 11 years old when we started working, and now they're driving themselves to work and buying houses.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
So where do you see Mitch going in the next couple of seasons or beyond?
You know, I don't know. I mean, I leave that to the writers. They're so good about surprising me. I really love the relationship between Mitch and his sibling Claire, and his dad Jay, and his mom, who's played, you know, every once in a while by Shelley Long. I love seeing that unit and sort of figuring out. But I think there's a lot to still explore in the history of that original family unit, and we sort of, wade into those waters every once in a while. Also, maybe Cam and Mitch, I could see them adopting another kid in the future and giving Lily a sibling, which would be a lot of fun.
How old is Lily now on the show?
She is 9 in real life,
okay.
So, she's 9, plays 10 on TV.
Right, right, right. Such an amazing cast. What I always wonder with these sitcoms, it has to be, I know it sounds cliche to say, but it must be really your family. I mean, you're with these, you've been with these people, as you say, from the period of like first grade through junior high.
Right, yeah. I mean, I've known Eric Stone Street longer than I've known my real husband. I mean, that's just the facts of it. So yeah, we've been through a lot together, and we love each other so much. We call each other our fake family, and we have arguments and disagreements just like a real family would, and we're complicated people, but at the end of the day, we all really love each other.
Is Eric the person you would say you're closest to among the cast members?
It's hard to say. Yeah, I mean, probably, just because, just by the relationship that we're, sort of we're in. Yeah, we're very close, but I'm really very close with all of them. Julie Bowen and I are super close. It's strange because I do find that the relationships we have on the show sort of bleed out into our real life. Like Ed O'Neill, for example, will, text me poorly, like I get like a weird encrypted thing because he's not really texting properly, but wanting to just tell me he liked that episode last night. And that's like exactly what my dad would do, He wouldn't be very good at the technology, but the intention behind it would be great. And Julie's sort of, always questioning things that I do and sort of acting like an older sister. And, Eric can, he's very protective of me and like checks in on me a lot, like a spouse would. So yeah, those relationships bleed out into reality.
Right. Life imitating art and vice versa, I guess. I also heard you tell an interesting story that you introduced Sophia and Joe?
And Joe, right.
A while ago.
Yes.
Obviously, they've
and
been
that
married
worked out
for a while.
well. Yeah. I don't know. I just felt like they were two nice and attractive people. They should get to know one another, and they thought the same. No, it's great. I certainly did not introduce them with the plan of like sending them down the aisle together, but that's what happened, and I'm thrilled for them.
Yeah. Were you at the wedding? Did you
yes.
Were you the subject of a toast at least?
They did make sure I was. There was a little viewfinder that we were all given. It was like 5 photos, the old viewfinders that you flip through, and it was sort of the story of their relationship. And they had a photo of when they met, and I'm standing in between them. And so I did make it into the ceremony in a small way. I told them I wanted to officiate the wedding, but they didn't have me do that.
They wouldn't. They didn't go for that.
That would be too much of a spotlight on me. Yeah.
So the show, 22 Emmy wins out of 75
right?
nominations or something crazy like that. Now, you got 5 nominations
Yes, I lost every single time.
Yeah.
I did.
I was going to let you say that. What is it like to be in the little? I always wonder,
the little box.
The little box. I mean, how do you manage that? I don't know.
I mean, it's first of all such a thrill to be recognized. That, I mean, every year I thought it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Specifically the first year, and so many of us were nominated that first year. So it was an honor to be included on that list. I knew I wasn't going to win the first year. I thought if anyone in our cast is going to win, it's probably going to be Eric. He just had that flashy role, and I thought it's his to win. And then he's won 2, and then Ty Burrell's won 2, and I've been nominated 5 times and never won. And people always ask me, do you think you should have won one year? And I would never say yes, but of course I think I would love to have had an Emmy Award. Not to say that it can't happen in the future, but I'm just so thrilled that I was even recognized. Usually the straight man and the very serious counterpart is not recognized. So to be nominated,
and you could
5
keep the
times.
smile up during the.
Yeah, I mean, the first year when Eric won, I was crying. I mean, not because I was upset, because I was so happy for him.
Happy for him, yeah.
At least that's what I'm telling people.
And you're in good company, right, Ed?
Yeah.
Ed hasn't. Has he been nominated? He's been nominated, but
Ed's been nominated,
also has not won for the show.
He has not won. Sophia, Ed, and I are the ones who are the big losers. Yeah.
That's one way of putting it.
But we're very happy in our personal lives, so it doesn't matter.
That's right. That's right. Right?
Exactly.
Right? So, Ed, you guys have the another thing in common in that he is originally from the theater. Is that
Yeah,
right?
yeah. David Mamet's one of his closest friends.
I didn't know that because when I did my research, I'm like, wait a minute, Al Bundy, what?
Yeah, he's a big. I mean, he's a serious actor too. He would do like these, you know, the big deep dramas. And I think he has a little bit of a pull to come back. He came and saw. I did a show last year on Broadway, and he came to see that. He was 20 minutes late because he couldn't find the theater, but I've forgiven him.
You didn't text him the proper.
He left his phone at home because he thought, I know the city so well, I know exactly where the theater is. And he took a right instead of a left and ended up like on 10th Avenue when the theater's on 6th and was basically wandering around Times Square without a phone asking tourists. He was wearing a Modern Family hat too, mind you, asking tourists if they knew the theater where Jesse Tyler Ferguson. He looked like a crazy person. He looked like Ed was senile. Just wandering around the city aimlessly looking for a theater. Didn't know the name of the play. Finally made it.
This was your one-man show.
Yes.
And the name of the play?
Fully Committed.
Right.
Yes.
And it's basically a reservationist, right? Is answering the phone at a very hot restaurant that you can never get a table at? Yeah.
Exactly. It's about a reservationist at a very fancy restaurant, and I played all the people calling into the restaurant trying to get a reservation, as well as the chef and the maitre d' and the hostess. And so I think it was something like 30 characters that I was playing. Gosh. It was a lot of fun and a lot of work.
How hard was that to do?
I lost 15 pounds doing this show.
Did you really?
I did. I'd never looked better. So if you want to lose weight, just do a one-man show is my recommendation.
I'll remember that.
Yeah.
Now, all the characters, are there any that kind of stick with you from that show?
There was the chef who was sort of like this dude, and he was like really full of himself, and like he was, you know, really into molecular gastronomy. So he was a lot of fun. It's so funny because it was a year ago. Someone was asking me to do a little piece of it, and I was like, I don't remember a single word. Yeah. It's crazy that you can like learn something like that's an hour and a half long. I knew every word dialogue was mine, and now, you know, it's that little part of my brain that just scooped it out and threw it away because I didn't need it anymore.
I would believe it. That's got to be exhausting physically and mentally to do that. And you've done a lot on Broadway, and I have to steal James Corden's line. He asked you, what do you, something to the effect of, what do you like better, theater or money? Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is it?
Well, money is very nice, but my my passion is the theater. That's where that's what I studied. I came to New York to be a musical theater, star. I would have been happy in the chorus, actually, but I did. I'm not to brag, but my very first role was a speaking role in a major Broadway revival of On the Town. So not a big deal, not a big deal. But it's where my love is. Like, I love that interaction between an audience and an actor. There's something just so visceral and real about it. And it's on television, which I love doing. Your performance truly is in the hands of an editor. You do a few takes and you can stop and change things. But in the theater, you are the editor. The performance is completely in your hands. There's something so lovely about knowing that what you're putting out there is the experience that people are going to be receiving.
Right. And you did that epic Carpool Karaoke with James Corden. That was crazy. Lin-Manuel Miranda, Audra McDonald, Jane Krakowski.
Yes.
And this is kind of a naive question, but do you guys rehearse that? Like, how do those work?
Very little. I mean, there was. So James and Lin-Manuel Miranda did the first part of it together alone, and then they picked up me, Audra, and Jane. So while they were working on their part, Audra and Jane and I were sort of reviewing lyrics together in a green room, and there was a very strange moment of rehearsing Les Miserables with Audra McDonald, who is a goddess of musical theater, and Jane Krakowski. I think my publicist took some behind-the-scenes footage of us reviewing lyrics. But once you get in the car, you're kind of on your own. So they tell you the songs that. I'm probably pulling back the curtain of Carpool Karaoke a little too much, but they did let us know what songs they were, so we'd be aware of them.
Right. Well, when I watch it, I mean, I won't ask you to reveal any more secrets, but I'm always like, oh my God, James Corden, be careful. He's driving around the city. How in the world
very good at
can you do it?
I know, and he knew every lyric, actually. I think he's just a memory bank that way.
Yeah, you guys killed it.
We had so much fun.
It was amazing.
One of the greatest days of my life.
Yeah, I'll bet. Yeah. So when do we get to see you on Broadway again?
Well, I don't have anything planned. My summer hiatuses for the next 2 years are available if anyone has any ideas. I'm always looking for great ideas. Yeah.
How does that work, though? I mean, if you're filming in LA and you're doing Modern Family and now you're committed to another 2 seasons, is it just that hiatus from the TV show period where you would be able to do something, or could you do?
We usually stop filming around mid-March and then start again in early August. So it's a nice break in the summer that I have, which is why I've been able to do Shakespeare in the Park here in New York City for a few summers, which I adore. And then I did Fully Committed last year. So it does fit in there. It's sometimes, a little bit of back and forth at the beginning of the season to try and figure out the logistics of a rehearsal process, but yeah.
All right, maybe somebody's listening. Who knows? Last question for you, and I'm totally putting you on the spot with this. I got to spend 22 minutes with you. Who would you like to spend 22 minutes with?
Oh wow, that's a great question. I would love. Oh God, there's so many people. My grandma passed away. This is not meant to be sad. I mean, but she passed away about 7 years ago, and I did an episode of Who Do You Think You Are after she passed away, where I got to sort of investigate my lineage. Oh. And I have so many questions now for her. So I would probably need more than 22 minutes, but now I feel like I know so many things that I want to talk to her about. So I think I would choose her.
Oh, that's nice.
She's my namesake too, Jesse Ferguson.
Nice. Yeah. And now we know. Well, Jesse Tyler Ferguson, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having
me. Looking forward to the new seasons of Modern Family and to seeing you on the Great White Way again.
Thank you.